Do you ever feel like you're trying to teach someone something, but you just can't get them to actually fully understand how to execute on that task the way that you can? I know that this is something that used to frustrate me. It frustrates some of our team members. And one of the things I taught them is a simple 4-step framework, a 4-piece framework that allows you to teach anyone anything and actually have them fully master that skill or that thing that you are teaching them. Right? This is a way that you can actually duplicate your own skills, your own expertise onto somebody else and ensure that they know exactly how to do it and actually enable them to do that task long term. And it's a very simple method, is a 4-step method. Now, this is actually a method that I learned when I was very young. I was involved in the Boy Scouts. I was an Eagle Scout. And this is a method that kind of comes from that world and that area. But I've actually found that it applies to business and everyday life to actually translate skills onto other people. It's called the E.D.G.E Method. And this is an acronym that stands for Explain, Demonstrate, Guide, and Enable. Explain, demonstrate, guide, and enable. Those are the 4 steps to teach anyone anything and ensure that they have full mastery of that skill. Where at the end, right, you go from explaining how it works all the way to enabling them to do it on their own, and you have full faith and confidence that they can actually tackle that skill to the same degree and the same level that you would be able to do. And just imagine that, actually replicating your skills onto somebody else. And the first part is to explain. This is where you're actually explaining to somebody what needs to get done, well, how something works, right? And so if you're teaching somebody something, right, let's say you're teaching them YouTube ads, you'd explain the strategy behind YouTube ads. You'd actually explain there's a 3D targeting method, right? There's a way to actually target the right person, the right time, like how that works, right? You'd explain why it's important to have the right video ad and have the right script and the concepts around the script and the concepts around targeting. So you're explaining how something works. Now, the reason this is important is somebody needs to understand how and why something works, and you need to explain them. But you can't just explain and expect somebody to know exactly how to do the thing, because you haven't shown them, you haven't guided them through the process, and you haven't, of course, enabled them to actually take action themselves. So the next step is to demonstrate. So now you've explained, you've gone over the idea of why it works or how it works, or the steps, maybe step by step, like you're explaining how it works. Maybe you're even giving them an SOP or a step-by-step bulleted guide, but that's not enough to actually get them to fully understand. You need to demonstrate. This is where you're actually showing them how something works. Now, whether it's a video that you record or they're actually there with you watching over your shoulder as you do something, right? So you might sit down and actually start doing something, right? They're now watching how that works. So for instance, I would demonstrate, okay, here's how to set up a YouTube ad campaign. Click this button, you do this, you do that, here's how you target, here's how you actually find the right keywords, right? So I'm demonstrating how it works. You're actually showing somebody, here's how it works. You're actually demonstrating the particular skill that you want them to do. They're watching, they're observing, they're watching over your shoulder as you do the thing. Then from there, the third step, and this is what most people skip. Okay, most people skip this third step, guide, but this is one of the most important steps that you need to take. This is the biggest pitfall that I see business owners, entrepreneurs do, or team leaders, or really any type of leader or person trying to teach a skill. The biggest step that I see them miss or skip, right, is guide. This is where you're actually having them do the task and you are over their shoulder and helping guide them through that process. So whether it be explaining some of what they're doing, or if you see them start to make a little bit of a mistake, saying, hey, I actually wouldn't do it that way, I would do this, and here's why, right? So you're actually guiding them over their shoulder. So now they're following that task, they're doing that task. So let's say they're creating a YouTube ad campaign. So they're following what you explained already, you demonstrated already. Now they're going in and they're actually doing it themselves, right? So they're setting up the campaign, they're getting things, ready to go. And what you're doing is you're actually watching them as they're doing that. And then if they start to make a little bit of a mistake, you're saying like, hey, why are you doing it like that? and they might say, well, I thought about this, or I was following this, and that gives you an opportunity to actually get that little, really ensure that you're lining up what they're doing with the bullseye, with what you're actually looking to have them know and accomplish. And so there's likely things that you either missed or wasn't fully conveyed to them during the explain and the demonstrate side, right? This is where you're guiding. So you're guiding them through that process. The final step is enable. This is where you can actually step back and you can have them take action on the task, only reaching out to you if they need your help. And that's where you're actually going in and you're enabling them to take care of that task. Now I have somebody on my team who can go ahead and set up YouTube ads, or a client who can go ahead and set up YouTube ads on their own, only reaching out when they have questions. So explain, demonstrate, guide, and enable. Those are the steps. You explain how something works, demonstrate how it works. They can watch over your shoulder as you do it. Then guide. You can actually be over their shoulder as they implement that task, guiding them along the way. And then enable. That's where they can do it on their own. You've replicated that skill into another person, only having them reach out when they need your help. And so that is how you could transfer any skill from yourself to someone else. And this is a great way to teach your team members how to transfer skills as well. And this is also great if you're helping coach clients, or you have clients where you're training them in something, you're teaching them how to fish, right? You're actually training them. Explain, demonstrate, guide, enable. Again, I can't take full credit, for that, or really any credit for the creation of that acronym. That came from some of my experience that I had through the Boy Scouts, being an Eagle Scout. That was a big principle that I learned in that area. That was a big way to teach different methods and strategies. Like if you're teaching somebody knots, or you're teaching somebody, these different strategies back then, that was always what was used. And that is something that I've carried on into my business life and day-to-day life, to train people in the skills that I have. And now I've trained my other team members to train other people using that E.D.G.E method. So I'm excited to see how you can utilize this in your life and your business. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this method, if you've used it before, if this was a breakthrough for you. Also be sure to like the video, share it with somebody else that needs to see it. Also, subscribe and turn on that notification bell icon so you never miss a video. You can learn real world skills and concepts right here on this YouTube channel. And if you're looking to learn YouTube ads, and we'll follow that E.D.G.E method to actually show you how they work, then you can go ahead and click that button down below, or that link down in the description below, and we'll have a full video on our entire YouTube ads strategy. And in our programs, we follow the E.D.G.E method. We explain how it works, we demonstrate how it works, then we guide our clients through it, and we enable them to be able to do YouTube ads themselves. If you're interested in that, all the links are down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.